Hey everybody, welcome in to Major Push Wrestling Talk Show Podcast. My name is Gino, and I'm here to talk about Raw from last night on August 19th, 2024. So let's get started. The show opened up as it usually does, showing people arriving at the arena, getting the crowd a little bit excited, and then Randy Orton's music hit. He comes down to the ring and he cuts a promo with Gunther face to face. The crowd was really hot for this. They were singing Randy's song. Randy was kind of cueing them too, which, I think will lead to more crowd participation in his song. Ever since France, the crowd has been really trying to sing along to his song, which, as he said, he's had it for like 14 years. So we should know the words by now. Then Ludwig Kaiser interfered, and that led to a match in the main event for this evening. I thought that it was a pretty good segment. Nothing too notable, nothing too wrong with it. We then led to Sheamus versus Pete Dunne. That knee that Sheamus led or gave to Pete Dunne as he was doing a moonsault was amazing. The slap that Pete Dunne gave to Sheamus while he was on the ground and then called him a B was great. The hand kick and the way they ripped the turnbuckle off, I thought that was really well done. It's something that I went back to, I rewound a few times because it was just something you don't see. So I thought that was really well done. They mentioned Pat McAfee was going to be leaving, but they would address that later in the show. We then had a backstage segment with Woods and Kofi Kingston talking about how they're disagreeing kind of about bringing in Odyssey Jones and who they're replacing and yada, yada, yada. So they keep showing Woods' face and he's confused and he's seeming like he's unhappy. More on that in a little bit. We had a Braun Breaker video package. Thought that was really well done. They really hyped him up. As I said when I was on No DQ review, I think that Paul Heyman being with him would be great, but he's not like he struggles on the mic. So we'll see. Paul Heyman's probably gonna go with the Bloodline storyline and finish that out. We then had American Made, American Alpha package, backstage segment that led to a match between Maxine Dupree and Ivy Nile. Is that who it was? I believe so. And it was basically just to set up the Wyatt Six coming in. And the most memorable part of that segment to me was Sister Abigail finisher. It kind of got me a little emotional. Getting me kind of emotional now thinking about it. Rest in peace, Wyndham. Bray Wyatt, his brother. I can imagine that if I was in a similar situation, that if I was Bo, I would be doing that as well. So that was really well done. Then we had CM Punk after the break. He mentioned AJ's name and then said, "Oh, that leads me to news that I have." And I was like, "Oh, he's going to announce that AJ is coming back." No, just a tease. Then he had a conversation about a woman he met that beat cancer. This is the second time that he's brought up somebody he knows that beats cancer. It feels like he's going out of his way to make himself seem like a good guy, and it feels very forced. It led to a strap match request from him for Drew McIntyre, and Drew McIntyre asked him if he had started drinking because we all know CM Punk is straight edge, and I thought that was pretty funny because to willingly be in a strap match with somebody much larger than you is an interesting decision. It was an okay segment. Nothing super big. I just, it was kind of a bait and switch to get us to a strap match with the AJ talk. So I'm really hoping she comes back just one more time, just to hear her theme music, or at least to get a Hall of Fame induction, something. Then we had that New Day with Odyssey Jones match versus the Final Testament. Kofi Kingston tagged himself in on Woods and then tagged Odyssey Jones when Woods wanted the tag, but Odyssey had just came before him. And if you're Kofi, he's going to probably be like, bro, like I tagged the nearest guy to me. I just got my butt kicked. Right. But Xavier Woods might be the smartest guy in the locker room as far as an education is concerned. And the face that he made, the faces that he's making, the way he's playing this is pretty spectacular. We then had a rest in peace Afa of the Wild Samoans package. WWE did a great job with this package. I think it was the same one we saw on SmackDown. Both Wild Samoans gone in a relatively short period of time. I think it was a couple weeks. So Roman Reigns, he's not feeling the best about that. And the rest of the True Bloodline members, I'm sure, are feeling the emotion of that. And they are going to make them proud in heaven. So I think they're doing a good job. And then it led to a no disqualification match with The Miz and Bronson Reed. This match notably had a commercial in the middle of it, and that reminded me to bring up that it really throws fuel onto the fire that is people believing wrestling is fake. Listen, we know it's staged, but if you're willing to cut to commercial in the middle of a match, am I supposed to believe that the match can end then? Of course we know the match isn't going to end over the commercial break, and why would it? But in a competition, something might happen. You wouldn't cut to a commercial in the middle of a running clock in football or anything. So it's just an interesting decision. It's like they want to see us come back. They want to get you could work the commercials into better places, I believe, especially when they're 4 minutes long or 2 to 4 minutes long. They feel very long, and it feels like there's enough time to get that done. I don't mind when they do it after an entrance and then we wait for the next person. That's fine. It takes me out as a fan who's trying to believe what I'm watching. Braun Strowman then came in to make the save for The Miz on Braun, and they mentioned on commentary that he's always had Awesome Truth's back, but where was he last week? So, again, I'd like it to make sense. And then I had an interaction with Sheamus and Ludwig Kaiser. It was okay, nothing major. Braun Breaker was then on screen, and he said, "It's not my fault." It reminded me a lot of Snitsky. And they announced that there's an IC title tournament. I don't necessarily have a problem with that. I'd like it to. We'll see how they use it. And then the women's tag team championship match. Sorry, no, I skipped over. It was Dom and Damian Priest had a match. I love Damian Priest's entrance with it's kind of blurry and foggy, and then they zoom in and it's more crystal clear. I really like that presentation with him. Priest saw the ambush coming, and then it was Rhea and Damian Priest in the ring. But first, I just want to say Damian Priest kicks to the Judgment Day members on the outside were savage looking. And then Liv Morgan had the chair that came in. There's a numbers game. Shoulder to the post was pretty crazy. I thought that there was, it was a good idea. It was a good segment. I wonder who's going to come and help them if they need it. We'll see what they decide to do with baby faces needing help. So then we had the women's tag team title match. The women are supposed to have one belt for 2 shows, but there's 0 interest. So it's kind of baffling. They came out Pure Fusion Collective came out to Shayna's music, and she wasn't even in the. Or they came out to Sonya's music, excuse me, and she wasn't even in the match. I really like Zoe Stark's music, so the fact that 2 weeks in a row I don't get to hear it, a little upsetting. Io Sky and Kairi Sane had a lot of innovative offense, and I really liked seeing them. The crowd is very much over. They are over with the crowd, excuse me. So when they said on commentary, and this is Millie, she likes to interrupt whenever I'm doing live streams of wrestling talk for some reason. They mentioned that there's another match for them on SmackDown, so there's no way I thought they were losing the titles. So that it kind of buries the lead when you do that. In what was the biggest mistake of the night, Jey Uso was in a backstage segment announcing he was going to be in the IC tournament, which isn't the problem I have. The problem I have is that if it's Pat McAfee's last night, he doesn't get to yeet. The crowd doesn't get to yeet. They want why are WWE consistently not giving the fans something that at least a few of them paid money to have see? Like, I know I'm not asking for wins and losses and segments, but for the love of God, you can't have him come out and announce that he's going to be in the thing. Like, you have 3 hours and you can't find a way to get him out in front of the live crowd so we can get Pat McAfee dancing on the thing, at the very least. So I thought that was a huge, huge miss. And then they gave the Pat McAfee football leaving montage package, and that was a really good montage. He is going to be missed. It's nice, he's never going to be really considered as like a WWE, like, right, because he does his stuff outside of the WWE, but he is just absolute money every time he's on the mic. Let's see here. Then we had an announcement for Uncle Howdy versus Chad Gable for next week. It's interesting that they're going to put Uncle Howdy in the ring so soon. I really hope that he impresses, because if he doesn't, the whole gimmick might fall to the wayside. And then we had our main event, Randy Orton versus Ludwig Kaiser. They mentioned the chop block on his leg from earlier in the night that left him damaged, and then Kaiser hit his running drop kick into his knee on the steps, and it didn't seem to matter. Randy Orton won the match, and there was an announcement that CW is getting NXT at one of the commercial breaks in between the match. They mentioned that it's potentially going to be a hostile environment for Randy Orton in Berlin, which is an interesting choice to book that match. Earlier this year, you gave Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest wasn't a good guy. He was on his way to being a good guy, but I think it would make more sense to have more of a heel character for the match. But then you have the build-up, which is the crowds in America don't get to have a good guy to cheer on. So I thought that was strange. All in all, I would say that Raw was an okay show. Was the good on the show outweighing the bad? I would say no. I would say that not having Jimmy Uso come out, or Jey Uso come out there, is silly. I would say that him needing to be in a tournament to get a championship opportunity is silly. But we'll see where it leads, right? They're trying to tell stories, and we'll see what the payoff is on these. So that was Raw. Whatever you guys think, let me know. I look forward to hearing your thoughts. Don't forget to catch me on No DQ review and the No DQ predictions video for Bash in Berlin. I am so honored that they are willing to have me on, and I don't do these videos to take any viewership away from them. I do these to help me practice and to get my thoughts out, because when we do those videos when I'm a guest, we don't get to talk about everything. So I do like to share my thoughts. I appreciate Aaron Rift and the No DQ Galaxy. And I appreciate all the panelists that have been so kind to me as a new guy, as the youngest guy, too. So thank you so very much. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye bye.